Hey everyone, it's Tino. I had the question about drilling into the drum pedal. A long time ago, one of my friends was carrying out my equipment to the car and ended up dropping the pedal on the ground. Ended up snapping this part of the clamp. You can see here it's supposed to have this, and it is now missing. When I'm playing the doubles, the pedal flaps back and forth like crazy. It's really annoying. So what I'm going to attempt to do is drill out the slave side of the pedal and transfer everything over. As you can see, there's no screw hole on this side because it's a left-handed pedal. I'm a lefty. All the hardware is supposed to go on this side. So instead of spending hundreds of dollars on a new pedal, I thought I'd try this, and if anyone has the same problem or needs to do the same type of work, I'm going to step it through and show you how I go about doing it, and maybe it'll help someone else do the same thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure the distance between this base to where the screws are, and I'm going to use a reference point somewhere in the middle. And instead of using a tape measure, you can use a tape measure. I'm going to use a vernier and lock in the distance. It's a little more accurate, and it looks something like this. Okay, so I'm going to measure how high up these screws are. Now the height isn't totally critical because the spring, you have an adjustment here for the spring tension. A little bit lower will make the beater harder. If it goes up higher, you're going to have less spring tension, so make sure that you're not too far off. And this is the side that all the hardware is going to get transferred to. So I'll just clean this up a little bit, and I'm going to scribe a line where I need to mark my holes for this side. So I'm just going to use this initially to make a mark, and then I'm going to take a ruler and scribe it across. So you can see the line there. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take the hardware, place it on here, and line up the screw holes and make two marks for where the screws go. And this is very important because you can't have too much error. The screws are very small, and there's two of them, so if you miss by a whole bunch, you're not going to line them up. You'll end up stripping screws and messing up the whole pedal. So this is like a one-shot deal, and I'm kind of nervous because this type of metal is very difficult to work with. So I'm going to use this little gizmo here. It comes with the tap and die set, and we'll measure the thread pitch and metric and imperial. You want to make sure you're bang on with this. So there's different leaves that fan out, and you're just going to set the screw in until it sits properly. And when you get that, there's a number on here, and that's the tap you're going to use to drill. Now before we start drilling, of course, we're going to line this piece up on the line that we scribed earlier. Put those holes and center the line in the hole, and then I'm going to tap with a punch two little dots in the center, and that's what we're going to use to drill our pilot holes. Okay, so choose a drill bit really small. This was about a 1/16 of an inch diameter. It's going to be smaller than the hole you're going to use to drill the tap hole. And this is going to set up the bit so it doesn't slide around. And you also don't want to drill too big all at once, because this type of metal, it could end up fracturing the whole thing and ruin the pedal. So I'm going to pray that this doesn't crack, and I should have a brand new functioning pedal soon. Now set up the punch holes, and now you want to drill very slowly. Don't put too much pressure, and Like I said, you want to put a little machine oil on here, help lubricate the bit. I have 2 holes, nice and deep, equally spaced, and clean out these holes with any debris. Use compressed air, use some sort of cotton swab, get in there and get all the crap out. And then we're going to start the tap process. I'll show you how it goes. It's not too difficult. This looks like a long procedure, but if I was recording what I had done a long time ago. So everything's good. Looks like the metal is going to hold up, and I do not need a heat coil, which is awesome. Here goes nothing. This is what we're going to use to set up the threads in the hole. This comes in the tap and die kit. I'll show you that a bit later. This has to be done perfectly. You want to be sure you are perpendicular. You want to lubricate the tap, and you want to go very slowly. Keep everything square and just start turning, and everything should go fine from here. It'll set itself up in the hole and start turning the threads. And once you're done tapping, clean all the holes again, put a little dab of oil in here, take the screw and check that everything goes in without much force. Just use your fingers. It's going in nicely, nice and tight. You can lift up the whole pedal now. That's a good sign. I'll check the other hole. And that's threading nicely as well. So it looks like everything's going to work out just fine. You can see that now everything's apart. The 2 foot pads, everything's going to get transferred over to this side, and this is the busted end, of course. Like I say, it was really a pain in the neck trying to play doubles, and the pedal would just oscillate back and forth. You're losing a lot of energy there. So now I'm going to put everything back. I'll show you where I put the oil. Let's see if I can do a time delay video. Always wanted to do that. Let me see if I can pull it off. So that's the pedal fully assembled. Put oil on the chain itself, over here where it links, on the threads, the tensioner. Also it's oil on the chain itself. On 8 hinges, and then thread screws, the bolts. And that's the way it's nice, quiet, smooth, and hook up, and try to double again, and hope the frame stays a little more stable.